Month 6 in the time of the Eternal, month 9, day 9, 2023. Psalms 37 verse 19. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in days of famine they shall be satisfied. Says the wicked in his way, there is no God. But he, on the evil day, this one, will cry out and there will be no help for him, because he was warned and he disdained my words. Many long for blessing and protection. But they are rebellious against my voice and despise my teachings by not putting them into practice. Others, like Balaam, play on both sides and bring destruction upon themselves. Remember Daniel, taken as an exile to Babylon. But I raised him up because of his faithfulness to me. He had nothing, and he had everything. He only had in his mind my sayings, my law, my commandments, my statutes. And he resolved, decided, to put them into practice and not contaminate himself with the food that was given in that kingdom, a pagan kingdom. And, those who were received at the royal court, they offered them the food they ate in this kingdom, this being a privilege, to receive it. Daniel, tactfully but decisively, under my wisdom, asked for a 10-day period for himself and those who resolved like him and not to contaminate themselves. Many were the deported ones, but few remained firm. Many looked for the excuse of, because they were in an unpromising place they could not follow my teachings. But these, meanwhile more they furthered themselves from me, but Daniel and his friends came closer each time more, to me, to the source of life. Great contrast between some and others. Because not having anything material, they had the most important thing, their mind grounded in me, their free will exercised, and resolved, to follow after my footsteps. I honored him, because I honor those who honor me, and I lift them above all others. And, in their moments of great trials, I did not make myself wait. This is my operation for those who trust in me and advance after my footsteps. For I fill the hand of the diligent and prosper the pure and humble of heart. I put abundance in the hand of him who is a strong arm toward his brother. Do you see a man who is solicitous in my sayings and of upright walking? He seeks my face night and day, and I impart my wisdom to him. I widen his path, and I close before him the doors of those who plot evil against him. The evil self, which contaminates man, does not understand this procedure. He fights for himself. He declares, with his mouth, to believe in me, but he does not seek to walk by faith, but by sight. He is contentious when he sees that his own arm is not enough to prosper, and he exclaims, "This walk is only for some, and it is not for me." In this way, he excuses his evil self. And he withdraws from my paths. But he who I live in him and makes me his strength, listen to my words. He sells everything he has for the pearl of great price. His soul rejoices in me and happily travels my path. As he goes by it, he helps the fallen, the maimed, the lame and the blind. He closes the wounds of those who have them open and heals the dying. And he puts his strong arm to the aid of the striving man who fights alone. While he rejoices in doing good, without expecting reward, for these do not have even for themselves, he cries out to me for wisdom to teach these how to sustain themselves. I open my treasures to him, in his mind. I fill his hands so that he can care for the wounded, bruised and hungry sheep. His walk among them is a blessing, that he multiplies with them. And these, in turn blessed, go as faithful, grateful servants to bless others. Such is the life of the one who, having nothing, has everything. But there are many who, having everything, they hide from their brother, they remain silent in the face of their suffering, turn their eyes away so as not to see their misfortune. These, like Nabal, who 10 young men were sent by David to him, and he despised them, after having been blessed by these who had nothing, only that they decided to walk after my footsteps. Just as he chased away these 10 young men with contempt, like this one was left motionless as a stone, and after 10 days, he died. This is how I judge the affront of those who rise up against my children who, after receiving good from them, repay them with evil. Be wise and flee from evil conduct so that it may go well with you. He who believes that he will receive good despite the contempt towards his neighbor, he is living deceived, because justice will certainly be done. Look at Naomi, she had it all. Scarcity arrived and they fled to pagan land. And they forgot about the return until misfortune came to her life. Widowed and childless, she set off to her land with the widow of one of her sons. Naomi walked and she felt downhearted and defeated. Her mind kept thinking about how she could sustain herself and help the young widow walking with her. Those were hours of mental pressure, but she continued her journey. As she humbled herself to me, without understanding my purposes, I guided her and blessed her through that young widow, of whom I came into the world through her. Such are the eternal designs for those who seek me with an undivided heart. It is easy to say, the one who has, like the rich young man, that he loves me and keeps my commandments. Moreover, when it comes to giving everything for my sake, he does not deny himself. Truly, truly, I tell you that it is easier for a camel to enter through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven, because the rich man lives confident in what he has, but the poor man, his trust is placed in me. And these will inherit the eternal mansions. Beware of yeast. For this corrupts the whole being. It destroys thoughts and annihilates the heart, creating all natural affection in it to die. He who wants to follow my steps under his own expectations, the blow will not be long in coming. Remember Jonah. He had to be buried under the waters inside the great fish in order to advance under my designs. And yet, upon being lifted from the waters and complying with what was established, he got angry to death before my mercy. This is how deceitful and perverse is the human heart in which his evil self is alive. Draw near to me. And every day be perfect in me. I make a pact with those who seek me with all their heart. Remember your father Jacob. Through craftiness and deception he seized what he thought he deserved. And, although my eye was set on him, he did not wait for my times and brought great bitterness upon himself, helped by his mother who, in the face of the misfortune, advanced in his own course. Like this, he was cunningly deceived for years so that I could remove that evil self from within himself, after hardships and the understanding of cause and effect. Jacob brought great sadness into his life. But I consoled him in all of them and made him rest in peace, in a good old age, ensuring his salvation. It was not my will for him to go through so much pain as David also went through, but sin leads to this. The dragon, the ancient serpent called devil and Satan, leads to this, to magnify the human heart. And in this way, magnifying the human heart, they entangle their lives to such a point that my blessing cannot reach them. And they bring upon them curse after curse. This fills them with pride and haughtiness of spirit, with flattery and conceit, with greed and cruelty. Every reflection of bad character comes from him. And he sits reigning in your being. And, as long as this happens, there is no possibility of salvation in the human if he do not go through great hardships so that, perhaps, he can recognize his serious illness and diligently seek health in me. Babylon, in loves with the dragon, has deceived the mortal, believing that he himself, without my help, can be saved, that any path leads to my kingdom, and that, by giving crumbs to the needy, they will be exempt from the curse. Meanwhile, she, sitting like a queen among the hills, surrounded by all luxury, will soon not be able to bite her delicacies because of the pain that she will have on her tongue. And those who, following her spurious philosophies, make a pact with her instead of with me, their Creator and Redeemer, will have no rest day or night, because ulcers will eat away their flesh. And they will have no one to help them. But these will not be like this because they did not know the real path, but because they knew it, but disdained it. That will be a day of weeping and lamentation. But my children, those who have made a pact of sacrifice with me, will be protected from the plagues that will strike the rebellious mortal. I see and search the mortal heart and recognize your motives. Whoever wants to save his life will lose it. And whoever does not mind losing his life, he will save it. History will repeat itself. False religion will be exalted, but those who never receive the real light will be illuminated with this, and they will have to decide. The United States of America has already created laws under the flag of the Roman beast, and, as a good image of this, faithfully follows its steps after the paths of the ancient serpent, that dragon that has risen with great fury for the little time it has left. Just as I was hated without a cause, all who follow me will also be hated because of my name. My faithful servants should not expect any different treatment. I was tried as a criminal and lifted among them. And, even there, I saved one of them. Likewise, you will be treated as criminals. Moreover, even in the harshest and most dense trials, I will be with you in trials, prisons and sentences. My light will shine, and even those who are there, some, will be converted. Wait and see that I am God, and my perfect plan will be among you for salvation. Therefore do not fear, for you will not be put to shame in the bad time. And I will satisfy you wherever you are, as I did with Israel when they wandered in the wilderness, and with Elijah when he fled from Jezebel. Therefore make a covenant with me through sacrifice, and I will always be with you. And I will fight your battles. And I will bring down walls, like those of Jericho, before you. For the mouth of Jehovah has spoken it. Faithful and true words that I leave from the Eternal for each one of you. May the Lord bless us.